Welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch. And I hope that you find that box-free cooking is fast and delicious. So today we are going to cook together. We're going to make Stromboli, which is just a fancy way of eating a pizza as far as I'm concerned. So let's start cooking together. First thing we're going to do is take our dough out of our bread machine. This is just a basic dough that I've added some Italian seasoning and garlic to. So my hands are clean. I'm just going to reach in and grab it, get a little flour on them in my pan, dump it out. Okay. Okay, so we have our bread dough out of our bread pan. If you do not have a bread machine, you can still make this. You're just making a basic dough, and I add about probably 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder to a basic bread dough. It's not even a pizza crust dough, kind of because I'm just too lazy to do the difference. So you basically get the air out of it from the bread machine, just a few quick kneadings to make sure that all your air pockets are gone. Then you are going to start rolling out your pizza dough into a rectangle. So Stromboli I started making when the quarantine hit because, now this is a slow process, so just bear with me. It's going to take a little time. You just work it out. But for a while I was making homemade pizza every week because it was kind of a nice treat. And then after a few weeks of that, it just got kind of boring. So I decided with all this extra time on my hands at home, I should make Stromboli. So I made it, and the first time I made it, it was gorgeous. I mean, I thought it was really fun and just a different way to eat pizza. It's not quite as easy to eat as a pizza, but it's just a fun way, and it looks beautiful when it comes out of the oven. So you can see some air bubbles squeezing out of the side there. You just want to make a rectangle, keep working it. I'm going to check to make sure my dough isn't sticking, which it is just a tiny bit over here. You don't want it to stick because you're going to roll it up. Oh, there's a spot. Flip it over. You are making basically Italian cinnamon rolls, you could say. Stromboli is just a big cinnamon roll. Instead of butter and cinnamon, you have spaghetti sauce and pepperoni. All right, one thing I learned the very hard way is you don't want your dough to be bigger than your pan. So now my dough is too big. Once I roll it up, it's not going to really fit on my pan. So I almost have to shorten it, which is kind of okay. You make a little rectangle like this. Make sure it's all okay. Your dough you can really work and work and work. Yeast dough is very nice that way. It's generally very forgiving. So I just wrecked my rectangle, but don't worry, I'm just going to shape it again and stretch it out the way I want. Line it up with my pan so I know it's not too big. All right. Once you have your nice rectangle, you just assemble your Stromboli. All right. So for Stromboli, you basically need pizza sauce, pepperoni, salami, and some people put ham on it. I just happen to don't happen to have the right kind of ham. The ham I have is just too thick. It's lunch meat ham, and that's really all I use is lunch meat ham. But that's not what I have in the house. The ingredients are quite simple. This is just a canned or a jarred pizza sauce. One thing I don't make from scratch is tomato-based products. I have never been successful with spaghetti sauce and pizza sauce. I've tried, I just can't seem to do it. So I just buy whatever you like, you use your pizza sauce. And I don't go too crazy on it, just a light coating. Then I'm going to start with my salami. So my salami is just nice thin deli slices. These are called hard salami. You can do smaller pieces. It doesn't really matter. It's just the bigger pieces are kind of faster and you're going to slice it all up so you don't need the small pieces the way you do maybe pepperoni on a regular pizza. Now I'm going to add my pepperoni, and I basically try to overlap where my meat comes together. I try to put another piece of meat so that they aren't right on top of each other, because you want every single bite to have a nice meat flavor, and if you put it right on top of each other, well then you might actually miss a piece of meat. So I kind of go heavy on the meat with my Stromboli because I don't do any other vegetables. This is not like a supreme pizza with all kinds of veggies in it. As I was saying, you don't really want to make this a supreme type of pizza. You want just basic cheese and basic meat, because you have a lot of meat. I think that's a lot of meat for a pizza, and you want that flavor to come out. All right, now I have grated 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese. Now when I'm making a regular pizza, I use a full pound of mozzarella on my pizza top. But I have discovered that I personally don't like to have too much cheese in the Stromboli. I don't know, it just seems like it doesn't cut very well, and it gets to be really messy, and I mean it cuts well, but it just doesn't seem to be necessary. So I do it like that. So this looks like a pizza, right? I mean, you could throw that in the oven right there and you'd have a really nice pizza. But we're going to roll it up and then we're going to call it Stromboli. So you start from the long edge, and I've left a nice margin here so that I can actually kind of seal my edges together. I'm going to use a little bit of water for that, hopefully. So you want to just start rolling. I mean, it comes together very quickly. Your dough, of course, is very soft, but that's okay. Now my edges are coming over, so I'm going to stop rolling and actually pick it up and pull it over. Then I'm going to grab a little water and seal my edges a little bit. Water and yeast dough really does make a decent seal. And if you don't have a seal, like right here, your sauce will end up coming out, which isn't the end of the world, but it's just not as pretty and perfect looking. I'm going to seal these together. Okay, so look at, I still made it too big. So I'm going to have to kind of squeeze that up when I go to lift it up. And the trick is just to lift this into your, the trick is to lift it up into your pan, but I'm going to grease my pan quite heavily because I don't want my nice beautiful dough to stick to my pan. I suppose you could use parchment paper, but that's something I just don't use. Okay, now my hands are all greasy, so I'm just going to pat this on the top. Okay, so we're just going to coat our Stromboli. Now the other thing you can do is to take a knife and make little slits, but first I better just make sure I can actually get this in my pan. So it's quite heavy, but it really does stick together nicely, and you want your Stromboli in your pan because this will bake up and probably over. I'm still probably going to be over my edge. You'll see when it comes out. But I am going to make little slices because it looks kind of cool, and then the sauce peeks through, and I like that look. So you just take a dull knife, if you have a dull knife. Apparently mine is quite dull. You just do a couple slices, and then you're going to pop it in the oven. Your oven is preheated to 425, and you're going to bake it for about 18 to 20 minutes, and then start checking it and seeing when it's done to your satisfaction. Okay, so my Stromboli has been baking for almost 25 minutes. I've been checking it quite often so that it doesn't get too golden, but we are going to take it out of the oven. Can you hear that sizzle? So that's why I like to make the slices, because it just looks fun. It's nice to have some very fun oozing cheese coming out of it. So we are going to let that rest for just a couple minutes, then we'll transfer it onto our serving platter and slice it up. Okay, our Stromboli has rested just a couple minutes. We are going to loosen it from the pan. It didn't stick at all on the bottom. The only place it's stuck is on my sides because I forgot to put olive oil on there. And then it really becomes quite solid. You can almost grab it with your mitt and put it on some kind of serving platter. So it smells delicious. I'm going to cut it into it and let you see the different layers of bread and meat and cheese. So that is what it looks like. It's very hot, just like a pizza is very hot, but it is delicious. So thank you for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you enjoyed the show. I appreciate your time. I hope you make Stromboli. It's fun, and it's fun to see what the shapes look like, and it's delicious, so enjoy cooking. Thank you.